Hello everyone, very good evening. This is Devesh. Okay, so after such a power-packed, powerful session by Mr. Jose, right? It's to a great extent it is helpful, and it is difficult also because the level that he has said, I don't know whether I'll be able to maintain that or not, but I'll definitely try my best. So very good evening once again. I am representing Seclore. Uh, we are into data security. There are many people who already know what Seclore do, and they have interacted with Seclore in the different time frame. But just to bring everybody on the same page, I would like to start with a short story, non-technical, non-cyber. Okay. There used to be a king, and one unfortunate day, he found her daughter feet bleeding, and he immediately called her team and figure out what actually happened. And then they got to know that she was playing in the field, in the garden, and something hit her foot, and that's the reason that the foot was bleeding. The king immediately ordered his team that lay the entire garden with velvet or something which is smooth in nature, so that my daughter is never hurt once again. Right? And when the team figured out do we have resources, do we have people trained to do such kind of a thing, right? They figured out that we are on short of people. Not only that, there was not enough material to lay the material on the ground. Right? There were not enough resources, and this is the practical situation. All of us are in our day-to-day life. Right? We are not with full of resources. We have limited people, right? And we have to again achieve what our ultimate objective is, right? So all of them were brainstorming how to achieve it, right? And then one wise man came and then he said, rather than laying a layer of material on the garden, why don't you cover the foot of the lady with that soft material, right? So the idea here is that what is important for us, right? If we decide to put all our focus on that important thing, make all our effort, all our time and energy on those things, I think we will be able to better use our resources, we'll be able to execute our things in lesser time. And that's what Seclore is doing all about. Today, when we think of any cyber security attack, any cyber product that we see around us, their ultimate objective is to secure the most critical thing which an organization has, and that is data. And data is the one term which is very frequently used in this event, and obviously outside of this event also, right? I'm not saying that network security, application security, such kind of things are not required. They are definitely required, but they are not sufficient considering present context. And we have to use data-centric security approach also. So see, whether it is email, it is my server, my database, my application, I have my data all over, right? And I use different tools and technologies in order to secure my data. But still, are we able to completely block these malicious attacks? No, we are not, right? They are happening. Rather, in today's time, they are happening more frequently, and they will keep on happening, right? So in something that is in not our control, right? If we rather put our focus, our energy and time and resources on something which is important for us, and that is data definitely, then we will be in a better situation to reach our goal of data availability, data security, and data integrity. And that's what Seclore can help you to achieve. Right? So far what we have been doing, we have been chasing our data. I have my data in my database, I have my application, I can access my data via an application. There are periodically reports which are being generated and sent to different internal stakeholders, external stakeholders via email. So earlier, my application security was taking care of my data security, and now when that report is being generated and traveling through a wire, now I am relying on email security. Now when it reaches to somebody's mailbox and the gentleman has downloaded the data, I am then now relying on endpoint security. Right? So it's kind of an exchange of hands, right? The same data, right? Traveling through different stages, right? And probably through a different levels of security, which we have provisioned for different layers. So there is no parity that we are maintaining when it comes to data security. So essentially what we are doing, we are chasing our data. Wherever the data is going, right, we are putting resources, we are putting our energy, right, we are giving our time to that particular channel, and that's how we are approaching the current scenario of security. If we have to achieve a true security, what we need to do, we need to think perimeterless scenarios, right, that there is no boundary, and in that scenario, I have to secure my data, right. When my application is maintaining a certain security level, and the same security is not being maintained when the same data is being downloaded from the application, right? When my data is downloaded, right, I can share the data with n number of people, and that file opens without checking who is that user who is opening that file, right? The zero trust that I was maintaining for the time when the data was within the application, now when the data has been downloaded, I am not maintaining that zero trust, right? So there is a gap that we are seeing, and this is the time that we bridge that gap. And Seclore is one of the solutions that you can use to bridge that gap, right? So I'll take 5 to 7 minutes more just to give you an idea of the zero trust that we have using so far at a network level, at an application level, how the same zero trust principles can be used to secure data. So the idea here is put security directly at a data level. And that's how we call it data-centric security solutions. So wherever your data will go, your security will travel along with the data. It's like a Z plus security I am providing to my VIP. Wherever that VIP will go, the Z plus security will always travel with that. Inside the boundary of the organization, outside the boundary of the organization, from one layer of network to another layer of network, from network layer to application layer to endpoint layer to data layer, wherever the data is going, that security is always traveling with the data. Now, if the security is traveling with the data, what does it mean? It means any point of time, any user using any operating system, using any network, any device, every time he is trying to open a file, his identity will be checked. And based on his present role, designation, he will be given appropriate rights to perform activities on the data. If your user is an auditor, and auditors are not supposed to make any kind of a changes in the data, the auditor is given just a read permission on the document. They are not supposed to do anything else beyond just reading or viewing the document. Okay. And not only user authentication and the authorization, you will also have complete visibility on the data. Somebody opened the file, which IP address he used, which operating system he used, the file that you sent with the user, in which folder, which child folder the file was saved. How many times he opened the file? Did he perform any unauthorized activity? Did he further distribute the file to somebody who was not supposed to access that data? How long he has been accessing that file, right? So you will have complete forensic, complete visibility on your crown jewel, right? That is your data. So you have authentication, authorization, and audit on the data, irrespective where the data is, who is using, whether your data is inside the organization, outside the organization, but you have all the controls and visibility in your hand. And this is a proactive approach. Again, I'm taking a same example. The data that you have in your application, you have certain controls. Now, when you download the data with Seclore, you can maintain the same rights, same controls, same security on the data which is now downloaded. Now, if you go to application and you remove the access of that user, without Seclore, what happens? That user continue accessing the data which has already been downloaded. But with Seclore, if you go to application, remove the access of the user, the file which is downloaded at a user system, that file also will become inaccessible. Because here rights are being managed dynamically. Any point of time, user is opening the file, Seclore will go and check with the application whether user is still a valid user for the data or not. If user is not a valid user, authorized user, right, Seclore will not give access to that user. So whatever you are maintaining within the application, within your network, within the application, right, same is being maintained across different networks inside the boundary of your organization as well as outside the boundary of your organization. And how do we achieve that? We achieve that via an open architecture platform. The objective of this platform is not to store the data, but rather to give you different integration interfaces. You already have traveled journey in your cybersecurity. Whatever investment you have made already, Seclore can leverage that. If you have invested in DLP, if you have invested in classification, if you have invested in your user repository system, identity and access management solution, business analytics solutions, SIM solutions, all that you have already invested, right, will be utilized. Even if you are a new organization, still Seclore can work without any kind of a dependency on these tools and technologies. Your data will be encrypted and it will give you security when the data is at rest and when data is in use and when data is in transit. So all the three stages of the data is secured, right? Beyond encryption, you are getting authentication each and every time user is accessing the data, user authorization, and the complete visibility. And not only that, looking into the logs, if you reach to the conclusion your user is not doing justice with your data, any point of time you can revoke the access of the data. Even if the user has the data downloaded in a device which is completely offline, even in a device which is outside of your network, still you will be able to remove access of the user any point of time. So you have complete security at your data level, you have complete visibility, as well as you have complete control of your data in your hand. So with a data-centric security approach, with the zero trust principle applied at a data level, what you can achieve, each and every time there is a implicit user identification takes place, right? Whatever you are managing within your database, your application, your network, the same can be maintained outside of your network as well. Also, with data security, not only you achieve your data protection objective, not only you securely do external collaboration, but also all the compliance that you think of your organization has to comply with, you can satisfy those compliances as well. We can have a larger discussion on this. I would request each and every one of you, if you have not visited, our booth is A18. Please come visit us and we can have a larger discussion on this. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.